Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Trails in the Sky, the third, part 24. In the last video we completed chapter 3 by reaching the end of the gold and silver roads that are right here. We also unlocked Oliver and Zen so that they can join our party and beat up the bad guys for us. Off screen we did a little bit of fighting to get us up to 100 victories, 101 victories in fact, which lets us go do one of these, some of these doors. I can't remember which one it was, but we can do a door now. Anything else that we need to do? Oh yeah, I want to do something in the base area before we leave. I also went ahead and equipped orbments on Oliver and Zen. This is our current state on everybody. We got Kevin. I think the Action 3 is new on him, maybe. Joshua's got himself some stuff. That's what Oliver's got. He's here to destroy kids with his just absolutely stupid high art stat. And then you got Zen. Now, I don't know why, like, what the red text here for defense means. Like, I don't know what that signifies, if I'm being honest. Like, why the defense is outlined in red. And it's on, like, well, no, it's only your active characters. But I noticed that when we had other characters in the party too, that they all had red defense text. Oh, is it our support ability? Does that lower our defense? Ah, that's what it is. Okay, so you lower our defense. Got it. Oh yeah, I wanted to well, I want to get some CP on everybody, get everybody tippy top shape, and then we'll go talk to people because we can talk to some peeps. I did notice back at the entrance, it looked like Josette and Tito were talking to Riaz, and so we can go maybe listen in. Because if you remember, Riaz is not very happy with Kevin right now, which is why Joshua is now our number 2. It's a long walk, unfortunately. Yeah, what are you guys talking about? Are you feeling alright, Riaz? I can go get you some medicine if it would help. You big dummy, she's not sick, she's angry. Huh? Oh, come on, read between the lines. That phony priest obviously said something to make her mad, and this is the result. Hey, we're not a phony priest. You're better off leaving her alone for now. But if you want to keep lying to yourself, Kevin, then go right ahead. If that's what makes you happy, it won't stop you. But as long as you keep doing so, I don't want to talk to you. Fine. Let's go see what who else is left? Muller and Julia. Oh yeah, we should buy ingredients. You know what we really should do is we should sell all this equipment. Oh, 12 Mira, hell yeah, boys. 25 Mira. Granted, weapons are actually fairly cheap in this game compared to how expensive they could be in previous games, so they don't really sell for all that much. Okay, this is maybe something we should have done off screen. Let's sell our armor because it is more expensive and we have more of them. We'll keep that titanium suit because I don't know if everybody has titanium suits. Alright, that got us a little bit of money. I'll sell those weapons off screen. I don't want to just sit there doing that for the next 2 minutes. Does everybody, because you've got that stuff, and I don't really care about I was thinking maybe we could give you the long barrel, but your other accessories are much better, and I don't really attack with you anyway. At least not physically attack. Oh yeah, Claude, you're the other person. It's always felt like we were being somehow protected when we were in the garden as opposed to anywhere else in Phantasma, so I can certainly believe the idea that it may be connected to that ghost. Seeming more and more like we were all drawn in here at the same time, which is a relief in some ways that pitiful thing had been left in the outside world without me to watch it. I shudder to think what would have happened. I'd come to his defense, but no, I can't blame you. Truly, I am offended. At the very worst, I would have thrown a luxurious banquet for all to enjoy. You know, Oliver can handle himself, dude. It's disturbing to think that we are literally fighting fiends taken from the church's texts. Then again, our enemies are capable of making a replica of an entire city. I suppose summoning mirrors and tanks are child's play to them. You got the ingredients for me, Mr. Tree? And we don't really have a ton of money. What do you need to make sandwiches? Because, oh boy, I could use some of these. You need tomatoes, flour, salt, and herbs. I think the tomatoes are expensive, right? Oh boy, they are expensive. Salt. Salt. You need some salt. Oh, we can buy a lot of that. We can buy like freaking 99 salt. Hell yeah, brother. We need salt, flour, and herbs. Give me some herbs. And then we need flour. Oh, we can also buy a ton of that. I mean, 12. You got me, game. You're really making me spend all of my money. Okay, we need also black pepper and beast flesh. I don't know if I want this sandwich anymore. I mean, it just sounds weird when you say beast flesh. It just doesn't sound quite as tasty. Now, if you said, like, you know, animal meat, which is kind of the same thing, it just sounds a lot more appetizing. What are we looking for? We're looking for pepper, I think. Give me some of that peps. Okay, so we spent $3,000 to make 2 sandwiches. But I mean, those could come in handy. I can see situation, especially for someone like Kevin, who's like ult, you know, have him like use that on himself to heal, activate his ult, then he can like save someone with it or something like that. I don't know. Any source of CP recovery is pretty good. Anything over here? No. Alrighty, let's do the star door first. The one that required 100 battles. So what do you want from me, Mr. Door? Yep. I have defeated 100, well technically we've defeated more than 100 enemies, but we have prevailed through more than 100 battles. Therefore, you shall give me my flashback. I can't really think of like what they're gonna show us here. I mean, if nothing else, we'll get the quest completion stuff. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. I mean, you think it's gonna be like for a memory, like a memory of like some character who's not really like someone who's not an actual playable character? A report on the damage dealt to the former Principality of Northumbria by the Salt Pale. What? Also contained within is research on the Pale itself. Holy City of Arteria, Congregation for the Sacraments. Oh, it's a Riez. I hereby present this report to you, Your Holiness, ever at the side of the goddess. This report contains classified information and may only be read by those with clearance to do so. Well, better hope we got clearance. Certain sections of the utmost secrecy have also been blacked out. Progression of events after the Pale's appearance. July 1st, 1178. I don't know what year it is in modern times in this game, so I don't know if this is like something that just happened or been a few years or what. An urgent report came in from the Haliask Cathedral in the then Principality of now a state of Northumbria in northern Zemuria. It stated that a giant white pillar so tall it appears to kiss the clouds had appeared on the outskirts of the city. Bishop Alexei, the one who sent the report, behaved as if extremely unsettled by what was happening. By urgent order of the committee, 2 Knights of the Grail Knights, the 8th Dominion, aka the Royal Lion, and a squire, both of whom were working on another mission in a nearby nation, were dispatched to perform a formal investigation. They hurried to the scene via the 8th Merkaba unit. Please note that the Merkabas had only recently been put into use at this point, so this has been at least a few years back. They arrived promptly, and at 6:22 a.m., this is what they saw. That's a big old pillar, dude. Enclosed is a photograph of the object now known as the salt pail. At this point, however, it was far larger than the term pail would suggest. It was more akin to a massive tower that soared hundreds of arg into the air. Do you think... Remember when Kevin killed Wiseman? He said something about, like, the artifact that turned a city into salt? Do you think this is, like, related to that? Or it was something like that? I can't really remember the line, but, you know, he freaking shot him in the heart with the arrow and then he turned into a pillar of salt. The two knights provided the following observation, which, you know, also has, like, the biblical parallels there. The two knights provided the following observation regarding the situation on their arrival. We were met with a mighty hailstorm blowing in our direction from Haliask, or so it appeared at first, till we eventually realized the storm contained not ice but salt. The object's surface is completely covered with salt, making it impossible to tell what it might actually look like underneath. So it was me 2 videos ago. The surrounding area has provided salt as it falls to the ground like snow falling on a tundra. Down here, salt is a way of life. The spread of that salinification, I've never seen that. Salinification, that's it, I got it. Process was startlingly rapid, and the affected area spread in the blink of an eye. By the time the Grail Knights arrived, the entire landscape of the capital had turned to salt, and the lives of many of those who lived there, like the aforementioned Bishop Alexei, had already been lost. Yet the spread did not stop there. A day after the salt pail first appeared, a vast coniferous forest zone north of the capital crystallized and collapsed. Bridges also collapsed, rendering all the main highways of the city unusable. Dang, this is fucked up. Please note that by this point, then ruler Prince Balmond had already fled the country to a nearby nation. 2 days passed since the pail's appearance. By this point, roughly half of the entire principality had become a sea of salt. What? Countless refugees had fled to the southern side of the country because of the river Greve that stood between it and the affected area. Finally, 3 days after the pail's appearance, the salinification process stopped at dawn. As a result, the knights were able to advance on the capital of Haliask with the hope of investigating the salt pail. That afternoon, they finally reached it. But what they found looked completely different from how the pail had looked when they first arrived in Northumbria. It was, like, blackened? It had turned into pepper? They found an object that was a mere 2.5 arg in height. Its surface was no longer blanketed in salt, rather it looked as if something had been carved out of it. It is now believed that the pail's mass decreased as the salinification process progressed. In the smaller state, the pail had lost its power to turn swaths of the country to salt, but its ability to salify was still very much intact. Anything that touched it, even for a millisecond, was instantaneously turned into salt. It was capable of the utmost importance to handle it with care. Ah, so is that what Kevin used to kill Wiseman? In order to complete the mission without physical contact, the Grail Knights required the use of the sacred tool Gleipnir, which was delivered to them from the High Seat in Arteria. Since then, it has been kept closely sealed away deep within the High Seat of Arteria. Still, while the recovery mission was ultimately deemed a success, the damage already caused was equally vast and significant. No damage to the surrounding nations was reported, but it resulted in the destruction of 3 of the 5 administrative districts of the Principality, including its capital. Over a third of the total population, along with travelers from elsewhere, lost their lives. God, I mean, imagine a country just losing a third of its population in a natural disaster. That's crazy. That is to say nothing of the emotional damage caused due to its sudden outbreak. The hearts of the North Ambria's people were overwhelmed with fear and uncertainty. From a humanitarian and religious perspective, a swift response from the Septian Church was all but necessary. The decision was made to dispatch personnel to the region right away, and upon arrival they set about rebuilding the damaged churches and healing of both the physical and mental wounds of the people. Those who were left orphaned by the crisis were taken into gospel facilities where they would be cared for until adulthood. The northern region of the country, which had been turned entirely to salt, was placed under the church's control and has been a restricted area ever since. Supplementary notes. After some time, the country's former leader, Prince Balmont, attempted to rebuild the government, but given that he had fled the country during his hour of need, caring only for himself and not his people, all authority he once had was gone. The The following year, the country's people led an armed uprising and the Principality of Northumbria was no more. Eventually, elections were held and the country became a democracy, thus bringing about the birth of the autonomous state we know of now. This is also when the former Principality's armed forces were formed as a vigilante corps. Given the extreme poverty of the state, however, the majority of said corps considered gathering foreign currency to be of the utmost importance. This was how the large-scale Jaeger Corps, known as the Northern Jaegers, was first established. I was going to say, that kind of sounds like the Jaegers. As far as the rest of Zemuria is concerned, this is where the tale of the Salt Pail ends. But a number of very important questions still remain unanswered. Yeah, like, what the fuck, dude? Where'd all the salt come from? Perhaps the most obvious of these is where it came from. Despite the considerable size of the object that appeared on the outskirts of a populated city, no information is available regarding the moment it first appeared. The most popular theory is that its appearance was due to something akin to spatial translocation, but no hard evidence exists to support this or any other theory. Of most importance, however, is its positioning in the teachings of the Septian Church. The Pail is clearly different in nature to artifacts and appears to be more of a fundamental manifestation of the goddess's power of creation. Committee report. With the limits of our power or knowledge at present, this is as far as we can get to the truth. There are some who have proposed it may be one of the Septarions, but no evidence has been found in legend or scripture to support this belief. Nevertheless, these questions and many others need answering, and the Congregation for the Sacraments continues to study the Salt Pail to this day. The most accepted proposal comes from those who believe the pail should be seen as nothing more than a gift from a gift. What a bitch! I mean, here's my gift, fucking nuke a country. And they continue to consider various means for her church to make good use of it. Ah, yeah, it's the dart. The most realistic of these plans is using it to manufacture a sacred tool used for execution. Parts of the pail are cut away using high-pressure water and then surrounded with a cylinder made from salt crystal, allowing them to be fired directly into the target without requiring the user to make direct contact. Should the bolt make successfully contact? Shouldn't it just be if the bolts make successful contact with a human target, their whole body would turn to salt, killing them in mere seconds. There are no known means for reversing or stopping the process. This approach does not come without flaws, it seems. Unwise to be careless with an object we still do not understand the true nature of, for one thing. There are also humanitarian concerns of executing someone in this matter. Still, it does bear mentioning that there should ever be a case where a target needs to be eliminated without fail, this would be the most surefire way to carry it out. It should go without saying that research on this is intended to continue into the future. That was interesting. That's some nice world building. Appendix regarding the aforementioned sacred tool. Trial use begins on the sacred tool to stop secret work. Permission granted for use in the execution of, I wonder who that could be. Use in the execution of blank, fired from bowgun. Results were extremely favorable, no damage was caused to the surrounding area. The target was also successfully erased. About the target. The target, blank blank, was orphaned by the salt pail when it first appeared. A brief history of is as follows. Joins the Septian Church. Joins the Congregation for the Sacraments as an official. Promoted to bishop. Declared a heretic and excommunicated from the church. So that's 95. Do you think that was actually that's Wiseman they're talking about, or is that someone else? I mean, I guess there's nothing to say he was the first person executed with the salt pail, but that would be kind of interesting if Wiseman was an ex-bishop. I could definitely kind of see that. But yeah. So what do we got? We got a petrify. I don't really know who to use that on. I mean, I'd rather have petrify than mute, so I mean, it's not really super great for you, but no one else can really fit that type of stuff. And honestly, Zen's ornaments, don't really matter as far as when it comes to getting spells. As long as he's got, like, Earthwall, that's really the only spell of his that's any good. Like, Earthwall and Earthguard, simply because those are just always good. Like, it doesn't matter what your stats are. He does take forever to cast it, so it's not, like, super great, but it's kind of useful. So what else do we got? Okay, we've done that one. Man who talks with his fists. So let's see. Is this Zen? only then shall the door open. Open the door, it is Zen. I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. I see. I sort of expected it would only be a matter of time before you return to the Republic. Your mind is made up then? Afraid so. I've made the guys over there take care of everything without me long enough. Call it an A-rank bracer's duty to his peers in society, I guess. Well, supposing you put it that way. I do wish you could stay here a little while longer, but if that's your decision, I'll respect it. So, when are you planning on returning? Well, there's no point in lingering here any longer than I have to now that I've made up my mind to leave. So honestly, I was thinking about tomorrow. Think I could ask you to arrange a ticket to Calvert for me? Well, certainly. Are you not planning to go and visit Kalika first, though? I would have thought you'd want to. That was part of the original plan, but she wouldn't have any of it, surprise, surprise. Her stance was, if you're gonna waste any time by coming to see me, use it to go back to Calvert earlier and get some work done. Very well then. That doesn't sound like a position you'll be able to talk her out of. It's no big deal though. I mean, it's not like we'll never see each other again. Yeah, that sentence changes its meaning a lot if you forget that first in never. I suppose that's very true. I'm not sure there's anything in Zemuria that could keep you two apart forever. Feels that way to me sometimes too. So, just for context, is Zemuria the continent that like all the countries are on? I'm guessing. Like, Zemuria is not a country, right? That's the continent that Liberal, Calvert, and Erebonia are all on? Sorry, just let me get this. Yes, this is the Grantsel branch of the Bracer Guild. Yes. Yes, he's here as we speak, actually. Zen? Something up? It's Ambassador Cochrane at the Calvardian Embassy. She'd like to invite you to a hot springs trip. What? Oh boy. 2 days later. Oh, is that Kalika, after all? Oh, I guess this is just right south of Zeiss, so... This place sure brings back memories. The atmosphere is so relaxing. It certainly is. Maybe because it feels so similar to our hometown. Still, Ambassador Cochrane had me going for a while. When I first heard about this whole trip, I thought it was just going to be the two of us out here. Oh my, you almost look disappointed that it isn't. I'd be happy to take my leave if I'm getting in the way of your dream date with her. I'm good, thanks. She's not someone I'd ever seen as a potential partner. Besides, it's you she wants to talk to, not me. This meeting might as well not be happening if you're not here. It never takes much to put you on the defensive, does it? Is it beyond you to just play along a little? You just can't help but mess with people, can you? With you in charge of the Zeiss Guild, I'm amazed it still has any bracers left. Correction, I can't help but mess with you. I don't do this to anyone else. Would you be happy if that were true? Hell no! Ah, you've arrived. I've been waiting for you. Hey, Ambassador. Thank you for inviting us here today. Is something the matter, Zen? You seem oddly flustered. Me? I'm just fine. You're imagining things. Who could blame him, Ambassador? After all, he's a man on a hot spring trip with two beautiful women. That's hardly a recipe for calm and composed mind, is it? Knock it off, Kalika. I suppose not. If I were a little younger, I doubt I've been able to keep my hands off him myself. Alright, I suppose that's enough joking around. We should get to our dinner. Mrs. Mao is going to be making tonight's food herself by the sounds of it. The serious discussion can wait until after that. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Likewise. Wonder what she wants. Maybe she wants to get Kalika to come back to Calvert? Or maybe both of them to come back to Calvert? I don't know. They did say, or in that Chloe and Joshua side story, Zen basically alluded that Calvert's in like political turmoil. So maybe there's like some kind of crisis going on that they want them back for. So there's going to be a new intelligence agency set up in Calvert, huh? That's right. It's to be known as the Rocksmith Agency. Rocksmith. Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that the name of the president? As the name suggests, it's going to be an organization that answers directly to the president. Really now? I see. I presume that is so that the Parliament can't have any influence over its operations. That's nice. That's good to hear. Oh, the president, he's just setting up a secret police. It's no big deal. Perhaps this new agency's biggest advantage is that it's separate from all those issues and vices. The last thing we need is an organization like this suffering from Parliament's failures to make prompt decisions or general ineptitude, or being run in the same opaque and shady manner by a privileged few. That does sound like a good idea, I'll admit. We're never going to be able to compare to the Intelligence Division, to the Empire's Intelligence Division, or Liberal's old one if Parliament's at all involved. Quite. It's already difficult enough to get anything done in a nation with such a lack of unity. I guess it's just the fate of countries that take in immigrants by the truckload, though. Though honestly, I think the thing that surprises me the most is the president's actually being proactive for once. He's always struck me as a real conservative type, so this isn't the kind of thing I thought he'd go for. I mean, it's a secret police, dude. It's an intelligence agency. I'm pretty sure that any president's like, hell yeah, I want a secret police that's answers directly to me, and I can use to, do whatever I want without Parliament or, whatever, Congress interfering. That said, given the state of the Republic right now, it's hardly surprising that he would choose to act this way. Outside the country, we've got a threat of a rapidly expanding Erebonian empire, while within we have terrorists and extremists. And to make matters worse, we have the enigmatic society on the loose. Enigmatic. Evidently, something has to be done, and I think he knows that as well as anyone. Indeed. In the times ahead of us, we're going to need to be able to respond flexibly to a variety of new and unforeseen threats. Alright, I think my introduction to the matter has gone on long enough. It's about time I get to the point. Oh yeah, you got something you need to specifically talk to Galika about, right? You want her to, lead it, maybe? So what position in the agency are you here to offer me? What? I love a sharp mind, Kalika. Your instincts are, of course, dead on. We think your talents would make you perfectly suited to join in the agency and are eager for you to be a part of it. That's why you will be offered a position of Division Chief should you decide to join. And that's something President Rocksmith has proposed himself. Wow. What led you to being the one to bring this to Kalika anyway? A fair question, I suppose. Ordinarily, this would be a scout's work, but I've known the President on a personal level for quite some time now, so he took it upon himself to ask me to come to you personally. That makes sense. Then what's his reason for wanting me? Surely you know that without asking, or do you want to hear it said anyway? Naturally, your master-class Taeto skills are one reason for you being selected by the President. But above all, he wants you for your exceptional analytical and information handling abilities you've shown in your position in the guild. Phew, this video is it's hurting the vocal cords, not gonna lie, all this reading. Putting a little pain on the old voice box. Those are just what the new agency is going to require if it's to succeed. Well, I can't say this doesn't all make sense to me. I'm more dumbfounded that you'd up and attempt to steal a capable member of the guild right in front of an active bracer like this. That takes some nerve. Well, I do think rather highly of you. I thought you would be able to meditate without letting such trivial matters cloud your judgment. Still, what do you think, Kalika? I'm not asking for an answer immediately, but I would like to know what's going through your mind. Well, it's certainly an interesting proposal. At the same time, I'm not sure I have any reason to accept it. But you have no reason to refuse it either. Am I right? Well, it's rare that you find it difficult to make quick judgments, but with such a big decision to make, I can't very well fault you. I won't rush you. Take a night to think long and hard about it. It was so you could do so that I booked a room here tonight. I'll ask you your answer again tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing it. Of course. Oh, and one more thing before I depart. If you ask me, remaining your position as a simple guild receptionist just isn't going to let you use your abilities to their fullest. I mean, she's got a point there. You're out rather fast. Have you finished in the bath already? Fast? Seriously? I was in there for an hour. Oh. Man, it's not often I see you looking this deep in thought. I suppose you don't feel like I'm one step away from making a decision, but just need one last push to take it. Or I feel like I'm just. I can't read, dude. Oh, right. Still, being here like this with you really takes me back. Hard to believe it's been 6 years now since Master Ryuga's passing. Sounds like you went on a hell of a journey between then and joining the guild too. You could say that. Going on a journey makes it sound like something I did deliberately though. In reality, it wasn't quite as organized as that. I simply drifted from place to place before ending up being drawn to one point where I settled. Much in the way a leaf that fell from the trees ends up floating down the river. Were you able to find that answer you mentioned a while back? Haha, no, I still haven't. Still, I do feel as though I found a conclusion of sorts. What's that supposed to mean? Seizen? Why do you think I choose to take on a non-combat position like guild receptionist to begin with? Because you didn't want to follow the same path as idiots like me and Walter? I wouldn't follow us either if I were in your shoes. Not quite, although I'm not going to deny that the two of you are idiots. Hey, that was the one part I did want you to deny. I wanted to find out the meaning of the living fist ideology my father advocated. I still believe that being able to better oneself through combat while your opponent is the same is a good thing in itself. As a warrior, it's probably close to the ideal way. Still, I couldn't help but wonder why the ideology had to be based around the premise of fighting. I can certainly understand the significance of living and dying as a warrior. I can also understand how one who lived that way would have no regrets when the time came to pass away came. Nothing has changed within me in that regard since the days we trained together. Yet with Father dead and Walter gone, I couldn't help but wonder. Wonder whether there was some way to make use of the living fist without having to fight. That was when I started roaming the continent in search of one. And as I roamed, I found myself face to face with countless conflicts and acts of violence, and I felt powerless every time I did. That was how I came to encounter Liberal's guild. They had arrived to quell one of those conflicts. Something about their ideology, putting the safety of civilians over all else, made me feel that perhaps working under them may give me an answer. So that was what led me to start working for the guild. But even then, I wasn't able to run away from fighting completely. The nature of humanity means that as long as we exist, conflict will never cease. Instead, what's important is not blindly preaching idealism, but preaching ideals while keeping a firm eye on the reality of how to quell conflict. Master Ryuga's words have never left me. Nor have they left me, but all the same, I've been looking away from reality all this time. Come on now. You know full well that's not actually true. When he says reality, he's not saying fighting is the end-all, be-all of quelling conflict. That's not what I'm trying to say. All these years, I haven't been trying to walk on my own 2 feet, not at all. I've just been trying to find a new way to live by Father's living fist ideology as an excuse to stand still. All the while indulging myself in the comfortable environment the guild gave me. In that sense, I must be the biggest failure of Father's students. I might not agree with the path Walter took, but he, like you, has chosen his own path and started walking forward along it. You two have been facing up to the living fist's ideal of Father's and slowly reaching your own conclusions on it. In your own ways, you've been able to face up to reality. And I haven't. I've been standing still the whole time. That's the biggest load of crock I've ever heard. You've been walking forward just like we have. In what way? It's just that the path you've been walking has been one for your others rather than yourself. That river you think you've been helplessly drifting through, you've actually been building a bridge so others can easily cross it behind you. When the road is hard, you soften the ground so your fellow guildmates have an easier trek. There's no shame in your way of living in your way of the living fist. It's as true as mine and Walter's. Are you trying to comfort me? Sorry for not having a way with words. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is, as a person you're way too strong and way too serious. And at times it's like those two things just end up restricting you and stop you from seeing things as you otherwise could. So try and relax a little, alright? Just a little. If you do, I bet you'll start seeing things you couldn't before. Say Zen. What is it? Would you be happy if I returned to Calvert? What brought that on? It doesn't matter, just answer the question. Okay. If I had to pick, I guess I'd rather you be back home, yeah. Why do you ask? No reason. I've decided I'm going to accept the President's proposal. Just because of what I said? Don't misunderstand me. All I wanted was some kind of reason to bring this journey to an end, as well as a place to make better use of my skills. That was the best night's sleep I've had in some time. Also, my lights just flickered. Oh shit, dude. Oh no, it has been raining recently. Is it raining right now? I'm worried the power's gonna go out. I'm gonna lose this entire video. It is not raining at the moment. It is apparently sunny. So I'm gonna hope that's not gonna happen. That was the best night's sleep I've had in some time. I hope the two of you enjoyed your stay as well. I know I did. I'm feeling very refreshed, thank you. Refreshed enough to feel ready to take on a new position and a new environment, even. Then, I would like to accept your offer. However, I have one condition for doing so. Name it. While I'm willing to join the President's new agency, I'm not willing to stop living in line with my own beliefs. As such, if I should end up feeling the slightest doubt about how the agency itself is being run, I will do everything in my power to correct it from the inside using any means at my disposal. If he still wants my membership after hearing that much, please tell him that I accept his offer. Okay, now it's raining. I'm gonna cut the recording real quick, just so that I can at least have this much saved. Alright, we're back. Hopefully the power will not go out. No, that won't be a problem at all. I think he may as well be encouraging you to take the reins. I believe he should choose you, expecting to... I believe he chose you, expecting you to fill that role should it be deemed necessary. After all, you have experience in the guild, an organization which has managed to remain neutral and independent all this time. That's no mean feat. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Also, I'll need to get my things ready for my successor, so I won't be able to return to Calvert for 2 or 3 months. As such, I won't be able to start my work until then. That's perfectly understandable. Well, I look forward to meeting you again in the Republic. Likewise. Is something on your mind? Oh, I was just thinking about what you said back there. You said you'll need 2 or 3 months to get everything ready for your successor, right? I did. What of it? Well, I'm guessing it's pretty busy over there in Calvert right now. It doesn't sound as bad as though there's anything so urgent I need to be there now. So I was thinking maybe I could stay here for the next few months while you get things sorted out before I head back? You can't be serious. There's no reason why you should stay around here in Libra with me. Go back to Calvert. You don't have to be so cold. It's me, you know? Well, that's the truth. We'll end up spending enough time together whether we like it or not after I'm home. You don't need to go out of your way to make more now. Well, you win. There's no need to rush things. Zen? What are you standing there for? Oh. Sorry. You could say that before starting to walk off on your own, though. I do think it's like kind of funny how well developed Kalika is as a character when she was just like the quest giver in the first game. Like, I mean, that was all she was. Is she was, I'm the receptionist. Here's your quests, and now she's like a pretty well developed character at this point. It's definitely very neat. Okay, so I think we're at about 40 minutes. Well, let's look at this yin yang thing. Isn't that like good? Mainly for the Sepith, it gets. Oh yeah, it gets 5, 2, and 2. I mean, haze and heal is kind of whatever. Who has haze? You have haze? So if we wanted 5 more water, it's hard. I don't know who to really give it to. Maybe Joshua? I don't really, So you have 7 space and 7 mirage. Are you close to anything good? 7 space. I mean, there's Dark Matter EX, which only costs 160 EP. I mean, that's not very much. And then there's... Oh god, that shit is expensive as fuck. Huh. Yeah, I don't really know about many of those. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, I know. We've been there, done that. I don't want to see it again. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it equipped, but I guess that means you can get rid of Haze. What does it give? It gives Earth and Mirage? Well, I don't know, dude. You've got a cast. Whoopee. You still got Earth Wall, that's all I care about. Alrighty. We will go ahead and end things off here in the next video. We will, I don't know what doors are left. I mean, that's Estelle. We don't have her. I mean, that sounds like Zen, so we'll go peep the sun door. We've done those. That's Shara. I got no clue who this could be. I mean, I would have thought Chloe, but it's not Chloe. I did not actually want to teleport there. Darling of Pure White Radiance and her scholarship. I don't know. I don't rightly have any clue as to what that one could be, but we'll eventually figure it out. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part, and bye, guys.